When I think of a PR practitioner, I think of somebody who's part of the process of creating the story. So somebody who's the gateway to the story. So there's the journalist, the PR person, and the story. They're almost protecting the story, but also releasing the story. So they decide what information comes out. Well, I think it's a symbiotic one, because you've got the PR people who want to get their story out, and you've got the journalists who want stories to get out, and so they're both helping each other. So it's a very beneficial relationship. Well, the PR people depend a lot more on the journalists because they need the journalists to get their story out. Whereas if the PR people won't give the journalist a story, the journalist is likely to find the story without the help of the PR people. So PR people definitely depend more on journalists than journalists do on PR people. There's a huge amount of trust and respect that has to go between a PR person and a journalist, because they've each got their own ideas of what they want the story to be, and it's often not going to be what both of them want. It's more likely going to be what the journalist wants because they're the one writing it in the end. And often the PR person can say, no, I don't want you to ask any of these questions of this person, and if they ask that question, then you're not going to get an interview again, but it might be necessary for your story. So that's something that journalists would do, but you're not going to get that interview again. So it's all about deciding if you want to keep the relationship going. You need to have a relationship of trust and respect. I think it's very important to keep a good relationship with as many PR people as you can, because not only are they the ones giving you the stories, but also I'm sure they've got connections with plenty of other PR people, and if you irritate one PR person by breaking the rules they set, they're going to tell everyone else this journalist's not a respectful journalist. So it's important that for your stories that you keep a good relationship with the PR people. I don't think PR people will take over journalists, mainly because their roles are different. So it's very difficult for someone who's meant to be getting the image of a company out there or getting the image of a person out there versus a journalist who's really just reporting history as it's happening and keeping those companies and those people accountable. So they all have very different roles and different motives in what they're writing. And so even though there are now more PR people, really what it means is that the journalists have more options. They're going to be receiving plenty of PR press releases, and they actually really have to understand news values to decide which of these is actually newsworthy to show to the public. So it really makes the job for the journalist easier and the job for the PR person harder. It can have a positive relationship and a negative effect on the journalists and PR relationship, mainly because you'll find that often when a PR person sets an embargo on a press release, it just takes one journalist to release the story beforehand, and then it's really the responsibility of all the other journalists to release that story as well. So it makes it very difficult for PR people to have a control of the story that they want to, and really to create that image that they want when social media can go completely out of hand, whether it be a PR strategy or a journalist advertising their story.